channel.
Hello, good afternoon and welcome to GB News. We're live on TV, online and on digital radio. If you've just tuned in, where have you been? Yeah, because you know, I mean, I don't like to do this twice in this show, but some people have gone off and come back. Well, I'm glad you have come back for this because this is an incredible story. It's 25 minutes after 5 o'clock. I'm Nana Akua, and it's time for difficult conversations. Now, Nina Olk suffered abuse from her family at a very young age, and she was groomed for servitude and expected to uphold her family's honour. Now, as a survivor of an attempted honour killing, she has since founded a charity to help victims escape forced marriages and honour-based violence. And I'm pleased to say that she joins me in the studio now. She's a London life coach, and she's also here with her daughter, Celeste. Thank you very much for joining me. Now, I thought Celeste was about 18. She's not. She's in her 30s, and she looked good, crikey. Right, come on, Nina. Let's talk about what happened to you, because I remember speaking to you maybe about a year or so ago and hearing your story. Some people will be watching and listening and won't know. So could talk us through your experience. What happened to you?
So I'm born in the UK. I'm, born to parents that are from the north of India, in the Punjab, and they basically didn't want a girl. That was my biggest problem, that I was born a girl. A lot of children, when they're born, they're celebrated. I wasn't, because of that whole reason. And that led on to a life of domestic servitude from a very young age. From the age of 6, I was a modern-day slave. At the age of 14, I was sexually abused in a rape at the hands of my father and his friends because they were drunk, and I walked in and I was the victim of a very horrific attack. I then was forced into a child marriage, and I was almost traded. So my father had sort of traded me as a sex slave. And before I knew it, I was living in this marital home, being this sex slave and a domestic servant to the family, and also financially abused by going out to work and bringing money back for them.
Wow.
And that lasted for 3 or 4 years. It was probably the worst time of my life, if I'm being honest. And that led me to wanting to go back home. And people say, why would you go back home to where you were sexually abused and treated really badly? But I didn't know any better. People in my culture tend to shut off the world, and we think we have to live in this bubble. We don't know how to ask for help. And when I did go home, I was then a victim of an attempted honour killing at the hands of my father and my brother. And I describe it as a very vicious attack because I tried to protect myself. My arm was ripped back and broken. And I don't know how I survived it, but it was stopped because my other brother said, let's take her to India, which happens to many girls every year. Every summer holidays, my stomach's in knots because I know so many girls are being taken on a pretence. But the whole point of taking me there was to get rid of me and uphold honour. And I somehow escaped that, by the grace of God. I'd broken down this huge, unthinkable task into small pieces and got out of there.
How did you get out?
Well, I was literally lying on the floor, broken. Like I say, I looked like something out of a horror film, and it was my mum's friend. We say auntie to everyone. When I was young, I thought I had 25 aunties, but I didn't. And she just popped her head through the door and said, get out. And I've recently tried to look for her, but she's passed away, sadly, because she was very important in my story. She'd helped me to understand there was an urgency to get out. She said they were sending me to India on the Sunday. I didn't know what day of the week it was, so I was super panic mode. And I tried to crawl, but I couldn't. So I ended up almost clawing my way through the carpet to reach the door, and then from the door to the kitchen and move out of that way. But when I did get out, I understood that life had changed for me completely because now I was an outsider. I was being looked for, I was being hunted. They don't allow you to escape from these type of things without being held accountable for them. And it led me to be in the hospital, in a refuge, but I did end up going to a friend for help, who I thought was a friend, but he raped me, and I had my beautiful daughter who was born from that. But regardless, she changed everything because suddenly I had a reason to survive, but I also broke that cycle of abuse, and I said I would give her everything I didn't have. Fast forward to now, 10 years ago marks when I became homeless after living in a very violent relationship for 23 years where my pillow was set alight on, whilst I was sleeping. My daughter numerous times tried to get me to leave, but I wouldn't. And in the end, there was an attempted murder on my own life and my son's. And it was my daughter that woke us up because my ex-partner had filled all of the house with gas and I didn't know, and we'd passed out, and she continuously phoned us until I answered. And when I did, I realised what he did, and that was the start of my new journey.
Celeste, when you listen to that, and obviously you've been along on part of that journey, how does that make you feel, and what are your thoughts?
I'm just happy that both my mother and brother are safe now. And one of the things that we're working on at the moment is what we call our Safe Six project. So we've started a non-profit, but when my mother and brother left my father, they were homeless. They had nowhere to go. And the reason we've started the project is because we want people to be able to go somewhere safe, not just a place that they can go to, but somewhere that actually feels a bit more like a home. Because when they did leave, the place that they went to was not somewhere that was humane. It's not somewhere that any person should be placed, unfortunately. And I'm happy of the journey that they've gone through and where they are now.
So this project, what's it called, and where can people find out more about it?
So our non-profit is called End Honour Killings. We rescue girls and children that are being trafficked, victims of domestic violence, sexual abuse, any kind of abuse that I recognise or want to help, or they reach out. It doesn't matter who they are, what ethnicity or where they come from, we're going to help them. One of the biggest reasons women don't leave is because they have nowhere to go, and that stops them. It makes them feel like they've got a sense of security at home. I think statistically there's 60,000 women become homeless in the UK every year because of domestic violence. So the housing place that we've created is in Leicestershire. We are at a stage where we're asking for help because I've invested nearly 400,000 of my own money.
Oh, wow.
And I've got nothing else to put into it. But it will provide 6 safe places for women and children that when they get there, they won't feel like I did, where the carpets were sodden with urine, the wall was smeared with faeces. They will get there and they will think, I feel safe, this is a new start. Every night before I go to bed, and this is no word of a lie, I imagine 6 children, with their mums respectively, running into a new place and jumping on the beds and being excited for their new life and thinking, I don't want to go back, almost forgetting the trauma that they've lived through. And these women actually being able to breathe, because when you are a victim of abuse, you literally walk on eggshells.
So this project, if people want to support you, is there a website or somewhere they can go where they can get in touch? And what do you need? Is it money? Is it help? Personnel to help you?
Yeah, I've been very transparent. If people want to donate bathrooms, kitchens, any materials like that, they can do that. Otherwise, they can go to our website, which you can...
Yeah, our website is endhonourkillings.org, where they can donate directly there. But we're also open to any help that we can get, really, just so that we can start to help.
Well, listen, really, congratulations for turning your journey into something incredibly positive and helping others, because we need people like you. Thank you so much. And, of course, if people listening are watching this, some of the things that you may have heard there were quite distressing, but what an incredible pair, eh? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for
That is, of course, life coach Nina and her daughter Celeste Auk. Thank you so much. Right, well, stay with us. It's 33 minutes after 5 o'clock. This is GB News. Let's get your latest news headlines with Sophia Wensler.